Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about POLC framework and this is our lecture 3. So our learning objectives are students will be able to understand the role of POLC framework and know the dimensions of the planning, organizing, leading, controlling framework. In this slide, you can see the chart of POLC framework where P stands for planning, O stands for organizing, L stands for leading, and C stands for controlling. And planning has three components: vision and mission, strategizing, goals and objectives. Organizing also have three components: organization design, culture, and social network. And leading has five components: leadership, decision making, communication, groups, teams, and motivation. And controlling has two components: system or processes, strategic human resources. So our first component is planning. Planning is the function of management that involves setting objectives and determining a course of action for achieving those objectives. The POLC framework starts with planning. Planning is a process consisting of several steps. The process begins with environmental scanning, which simply means that planners must be aware of the critical contingencies facing their organization or school in terms of economic conditions, their competitors, and their customers. Planner must then attempt to forecast future conditions. These forecasts form the basis for planning. Planner must establish objectives, which are statements of what need to be achieved and when. Planner must then identify alternative courses of action for achieving objectives. After evaluating the various alternatives, planners must make decisions about the best sources of actions for achieving objectives. They must then formulate necessary steps and ensure effective implementation of plans. Finally, planners must constantly evaluate the success of their plans and take corrective action when necessary. So, our next component is strategizing. Strategy is a central part of the planning function in POLC. It has two aspects: corporate strategy, what business or businesses should we be in; business strategy, how should we compete. Carpenter and Sander 2009 defined that strategic management process is the process by which a organization, it can be a school or any type of business, manage the formulation and implementation of its strategy. So what is strategic management? Reflect what an organization does to achieve its mission and vision. We as a school leader should focus primarily on the strategy formulation aspects of strategic management because implementation is essential organizing, learning and controlling as POLC components. Our next component is goals and objectives. They are critical component of leadership and management and provide foundation for measurement. Goals are outcome statements that define what an organization is trying to accomplish. In contrast to goals, objectives are very precise, time based, measurable actions that support to completion of a goals. Organizing. Organizing is the function of management that involves developing an organizational structure and allocating human resources to ensure the accomplishment of objectives. Organizations, just like individuals, have their own personalities, more typically known as organizational culture. Understanding how culture is created, communicated, and changed will help you to be a more effective school leader. But first, let's define organizational culture or organization design. The matching of organizational forms such as structure, reporting relationships, and information technology with the organization's strategy. Organizational culture. Organizational culture refers to a system of shared assumptions, values, and beliefs that show people what is appropriate and inappropriate behavior. Next is social networking, systems that allow members of a specific site to learn about other members' skills, talent, knowledge, or preferences. Our next slide is about leading. Leading involves the social and informal sources of influence that you use to inspire action by others. If managers are effective leaders, their subordinates will be enthusiastic about exerting efforts to attain organizational objectives. It means mobilizing others to want to struggle towards a common goal. So, next is decision making. Decision making refers to making choices among alternative courses of action, which may also include inaction. Individuals throughout organization use the information they gather to make a wide range of decisions. These decisions may affect the lives of others and change the course of an organization. Because many decisions involve an ethical component, one of the most important consideration in management is whether the decision you are making as an employee or a school leader or as a manager are ethical. Communication. It is defined in the Merriam Webster Dictionary as a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, or behavior. Communication supports each of a manager's POLC functions. The ability to effectively communicate is a necessary condition for successfully planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Groups and teams. Groups and teams are exist everywhere on the organizational landscapes, and school leaders and managers will find that team management skills are required within each of the planning, organizing, leading, and controlling functions. When decision making decisions about the structure of the firm or a school and individual jobs, managers conducting their organizing functions must determine how teams will be used within the organization. Today's school leader must be both good team member and good team leader. Managing groups and team is a key component of leadership. So, motivation. Motivation is defined as the intention of achieving a goal, leading to goal directed behavior. When we refer to someone as being motivated, we mean that the person is trying hard to accomplish a certain task. Motivation is clearly important for someone to perform well. So, our next component is controlling. Controlling involves ensuring that Performance does not deviate from standards. It consists of three steps. Number one, establishing performance standard. Number two, comparing actual performance against standards. And number three, taking corrective action when necessary. So our last component is strategic human resource. Organization or schools need employees who understand the organization's strategy and are empowered to execute it. To achieve this, organization need to follow a strategic human resource management SHRM approach. SHMR or strategic human resource management approach, which ensure that people are a key factor in organization or in a school competitive advantage. It is an integral part of the control portion of the planning, organizing, leading, controlling framework.